Hey yo bledrons, welcome back to your new Lightning Quick Repairs episode. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Samsung Galaxy A5 2017 that is completely obliterated from the front. So you can see that right there. You can see the actual screen has been cracked, and I can see a crack on the inside somewhere. I think there's one right here. There's a hairline crack, and overall the phone is in rough shape. But I've got myself a brand new screen. It's not an original one, it's an aftermarket OLED, which kind of sucks because the people I got them from, they were making it sounding like it's an original screen. And knowing the people I'm getting them from, when they say OLED or LCD, usually the OLED means it's a genuine original one. But this one's an aftermarket, but they didn't tell me that. But now I'm stuck with it, and I'm gonna just try and fix this phone anyways. It's not gonna be sold anywhere. I just have the screen and battery on hand, so I'm just gonna replace the screen. So here's my screen, and you can see it's very different. This has more of a grey look to it from everything else, and this one's proper black. Can you see that now? It's ever so slightly shorter. So yeah, you can kind of tell by the bezels and stuff, like the Samsung logo there, and then that Samsung logo there. But regardless, it is what it is. If it works, it works. I don't care. And then I've got myself a battery as well. So here's our brand new battery that we're going to install in this, because the battery in here was swollen. So I had to rip the phone apart just to be safe, just to take out the battery. So that's what I've done here. So I haven't put any new adhesive. I've just taken off the back, and that's it. And I've taken off the IMEI sticker as well and just put it on here temporarily, just until we can put our new battery in there. So without further ado, I'm going to zoom in now, and I'm going to get my electric screwdriver, and let's start working on this phone, shall we? Okay, so I've got these screws removed for the top plastic panel. I haven't removed the screws for the charging port because I'll do that afterwards. Let's get our pry tool and try and remove this back, this plastic panel right here. Here we go. There we go. That comes off just like that, nice and easy. And that is our phone open right here. So that's the display connection right there, and I'm assuming that's the digitizer connection as well. So let's disconnect that. That's for the old screen. And in order to remove this display from this frame, we need to have a heat plate or a hot air station. I'm using a hot air station today as I left my heat plate at the office, but both work just as well. Usually when it comes to phones, when it comes to Samsungs especially, I would always recommend you get the screen with the frame, because if you break it, then you know you're screwed, and when you glue the screen down, you only have one shot to do it, and you take that off, it's gonna crack, and you don't want that, especially if it's an OLED, and especially if it's expensive. Turns out that is not a digitizer connection, so that must be for something else. So I've just connected that back. I'm gonna fold this old cable down, and I'm just gonna connect this one in. There we go, that's in there now. So that's looking just like this. I'll zoom out a little bit as well in a second. And let's get our battery. Here we are. And let's drop that in there as well. That's a brand new battery. Yay, there we go. And I'm just going to put something underneath it so the reflections is not there. That's a lot better. It's at 1%. Okay, so what I'm going to do, right, is I'm going to let this charge, and then I'm gonna try and turn it on. Alright, so I'll see you guys in just a minute. Yay, I managed to get it turned on, and it's got a white background, which is quite interesting. So what I had to do was I kind of looked at the piece, this black plastic piece here, to see how it works. And so that's where the power button connection would go, and then it connects on the other side to the motherboard itself. So, and this is just I think for NFC, so this is not important, just this piece. So what I did was I just pushed this side down so I can make contact with the button, and then the actual button flex, and then I pushed this bit down right here in the middle so it makes contact with the motherboard. So now if I push here, you can see it doesn't work, right? But then if I push here, you can see it works. The screen's actually not bad quality. It's just very small, which kind of makes it look off. The blue color on this actually looks really good on here. It looks very vibrant, so that's nice. Okay, so let's turn this off and let's finish the rest of the phone off. Oh, I just realized there's no power menu here. I'm too used to the newer phones. Power off, power off. Oh, now it's got a black background. Interesting. What we need to do from here is we need to unscrew this bottom piece. There we go. And then we should be able to take this bit out. There we go. That's that piece out. And there are also 2 screws right here which we have to remove. There's a few connectors we have to remove. There's a headphone jack as well, which we have to unscrew. There we go. That's our headphone jack out. And we can disconnect these flex cables right here. And the phone actually comes apart really nicely, which I'm happy about. There's one camera. Oh, I just realized one thing. There we go. We have to remove the SIM tray. Completely forgot about that. Oh, no, there's one screw. Oh, and we have to remove this one as well. There we go. There we go. Awesome. Take a look at that. And you know what? One thing I just realized is it sucks this is not modular. It sucks that this is all one board. But it works, so I couldn't really care less. I'm not going to sit here and complain. This top piece right here for the earpiece. So let's carefully do that. It's just held on with some adhesive. So let's take that out there. There we go, look at that. And then we have to remove this bit right here because they're connected together. So just carefully lift it up and move it out of place. And oh, turns out it's not connected together. Okay, looks like it was. There we are. And that is all our parts from the top out. So now all we have to remove is just this vibration motor. I gotta be extremely careful, and this home button could be wobbly afterwards, which I hope it isn't. But there's only one way to find out. So let's get the heat gun and blast this with hot air and see how we do, shall we? And I've got this set to 500 degrees, so it makes it a little bit easier. So I've got myself a flat metal tool right here, absolutely thin, and a suction cup. So let's put this on right here where there's no crack and try lift. Ouch, that is actually quite hot. Let's see if we can put the tool in, and yay, we can. And you can see actually, if I can pry it open enough, that's my tool is right behind that cable, so meaning I'm right behind the full display itself. So if I just carefully go down, then I'll be slicing the glue for the screen. Oh jeez. Okay, so that's the actual glass layer itself, which we can put down. And this is what I'm talking about. So that's the home button there. That's the back and recents key. So you can see a little bit of gloss is on there. So I've just taken it off now. And now we just got to remove this right here, which this might turn into a mess. Yeah, heat. Okay. Okay. So far so good. My hands are getting burned. Ah. There we go. Nice. Wow, that actually came off quite nicely. I'm surprised and I'm actually really shocked at that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clear all of this off and then we can continue working on the phone. Okay, so I've just zoomed in a little bit as well, just to make it a little bit easier for us to see, so you can see more. And what we can try and do now is start removing the actual adhesive layer from this. Now, because obviously we've heated it up quite a bit, it's still going to be a little bit sticky, so it won't be nice and smooth to remove. So yeah, that's unfortunate, but we just have to try, honestly. Let's see if we could just scrape it off. Oh, maybe we can. Yeah, maybe we can. And I've got some IPA over here, so after that we can clean this all off as well. Just before we continue, you can see that I've removed this side and that side, and it's coming off quite nicely. I just want to see if this fits properly on the frame. I just want to see how it looks. I'm not gonna lie to you, the black looks awkward on this thing, but that's okay. It's not bad, it actually looks pretty good. The only problem I have that I can say is the fact that there is a massive dent right here. So I need to find a way to actually push that outwards, because it's stopping the screen from sitting down properly in that area. I don't know if you can see that. So I think I might have to use a little hammer or something. I think I've got some tools that I could use, and I think I have to use a hammer to just bash it outwards. The frame itself is already ruined, so I don't mind if I have to bash it outwards a little bit. You can see that's actually come off really clean. You could just pick at it. So that's what I've been doing. Instead of just scraping it off, I've just been picking at it. So it comes off nice and easy. Obviously you should take your time with this, otherwise the adhesive just becomes ridiculous to work with. But if you take your time and if you just pick, and then obviously when it becomes a big clump, you just pull it off, then you just rinse and repeat until it all comes off nice and clean. Then you can use some IPA to clean off the actual sides, just to make sure there's no residue, nothing remaining, and it's fully clean for your screen to adhere onto. Alright, so I've removed all the adhesive now, and what I had to do was off camera, I had to hammer the corner, which you can see now has actually been flushed, but the actual corner chunk is missing a little bit, but that's okay. So you can see there's a little curve now, but that's okay, it's not that big of a deal. And I test fitted the actual display and it sits flush now. Now I'm going to be using B7000 to glue this display on, and the reason why I am not using tape adhesive right now is because I don't have the correct size tape adhesive, but also because tape it's got its own thickness, right, and you put the screen on top of that, I don't want it to protrude outwards. Whereas B7000, you can put a nice thin bead, and then when you push the screen on, it pushes out any excess, meaning that it flattens out as much as possible, especially if you put a little bit of weight on top of it. So I've just cleaned off the actual tip of it as well, and let's do this, shall we? So that is some nice amount of glue around the perimeter. I'm gonna put just a tiny bit around here as well. It's like I'm doing art. Put some there. put some here as well, just the most tiniest bit there. And then if I flip this around so it's on this side, I'm gonna put some here as well. But don't put too much in this specific area, as you don't want to accidentally get glue in the earpiece. Okay, so I've got glue around the edges now, and what I will do is I'm going to put some tape adhesive. I've got this thick one, right? That's the only one I have, unfortunately. I'm gonna put some here and here just to hold the actual the LCD itself in. So when this sits inside the phone, the edges are going to be glued in, but then I want to secure it in the middle as well, just to give it some more strength. 2 pieces is more than enough. So that's it for now. Let's peel these back, and let's peel this back. There's one. And there's a little bit of adhesive right here as well, so you can stick this down just like that. Awesome. And let's glue this on. There we go. So let's seat this display in. Nice, that's in there. There we go. That's in there. Awesome. And now it's turned into a complete mess, but that's okay. You can give this all a nice clean after. Is the button pressing nicely? Yes, it is. Get our vibration motor, which is over here, and put that back where it came from, which is over here. There we go. There's that. We can get our little earpiece, which is right over here, and we can put that back in place. And then we can get this thing right here and put that back into place as well. There we go. Nice. Whoops. Let's get our motherboard and let's drop that back in place. Of course, we're gonna first put in the charging port side, and then let's get our tweezers just to get this connector away, just like that. Seat this somehow into place. There we go, just like that. So now let's connect our connections. There we go. This one right here, and that one right there. Nice. The phone is starting to take shape very, very quickly. So let's put our headphone jack back in, and of course there's this little gold piece that's sticking out. So of course you want to put that in there first, and then seat the whole thing down just like that. And I'm just going to get my screwdriver, and I'm going to get those 2 black screws for the charging port and screw those back in place. Awesome. And I'm going to get the screw for the actual motherboard as well, just like that. Nice. We can put the camera back in just like that. We can put our battery in, plug that in, and we can finally seat this on. Now obviously this is all loose, so well, most of it at least is loose, and this is just to test it, so that should be more than enough. So let's turn this on. Nice. Now that I think about it, I wish I hammered this bit out as well, because it looks like it's interfering a little bit. But that's okay, that's not going to bother me too much. As long as the screen sticks down, that's all that matters to me. So that's all good. And nice, the back and the recent key work. Home button works, and it just died. Okay, well, I guess that's our cue to finish off the rest of this video. So let's just pull this back out again. And what I'm going to do just to secure this down is just put the SIM slot in. SIM card tray back in. Is that the wrong one? Yeah, that's the wrong one. What? There we go. Now it goes in. Okay. And I was panicking for a little second there, but it's all good. It's all good. I've got my double-sided strong tape here, so I'm just gonna put some Awesome. And that's our battery with some nice strong adhesive on it. So we've got our battery prepped and ready to go, but now we have to do the absolutely excruciating task of removing all this adhesive. So let's see if we can use the old method that we did with scraping, and that might work. Yeah, it works. Okay, cool. So what I have to do is sit here and painstakingly remove all this adhesive. And same thing as before, remove and then put some IP around everything and scrub it down just to make sure there's no residue. And yeah, so I'm gonna do this. And I just also forgot to mention as well, you need to remove adhesive off the back panel as well. Now when it comes to the back panel, right, this adhesive normally can just peel off after you pick on it with your fingers. So there we go. Using the tweezer does help. There we go. So you can see it lifted that corner just there. So if you go slowly, then you can peel all of this off as well. But if it skips just like that, you can see the residue and the adhesive actually separates. Just break that off and then just try slowly going around the other side. If you hold it just where you're peeling off instead of all the way back here, then chances of you getting it off cleaner is a lot higher. Right, and make sure you take your time with it as well, like I am doing. Okay, and I've finally taken off all the adhesive off the back and the back panel, and it came out looking really nice. And I've used some IPA and I went around the edges and it's really clean now. I'm going to get this plastic piece right here and I'm just gonna use a toothbrush just to get rid of any dust. And now would be also a good time to clean that speaker mesh right there, but it's already clean, so we're good to go from that. So let's put this plastic panel back in for the charging port. So that just goes in like that. There we go, just like that. It clips back into place. And let's get our screws and screw this back in. Let's get our battery and let's actually put this in, shall we? So let's take off the backing and let's plug this in. That's plugged in now and that's installed. Let's put the actual back panel back on. So you can see there's quite a bit of glue remaining on this back panel bit as well, but luckily because there's not much, we could just scrape it off, so it's not really that big of a deal. It will come off in only a few seconds. There we go. There we go. That is our phone basically put back together. So let's see if the phone turns on now. I think I might need to plug it in. And it turned on. Okay. Plug into life support. Cool. So while that's doing that right there, I'm going to actually, while that's turning on, I'm going to look behind, get this sticker. I'm going to put it on the bottom of the battery, just exactly how it was. So let's do that, because I like everything being as original as I can get it. Awesome. There we go, just like that. Nice. Okay, so that's looking good there. Clear the rest of this adhesive and then we can use this tape adhesive to glue the rest of the back on. So here's what I always do with tape adhesive. So I put it down. So I've got this quite thick, right? This is a really thick adhesive. Obviously it's thin, but I mean in terms of width. So I'm looking for areas where it's extremely empty, just like this one right here is a perfect example. So I lay this adhesive flat and I keep some outside, so I keep a little bit on I keep a little bit sticking out. So I lay it on the complete edge itself so you can see it's on the edge, and then I can let go, cut, and then just push this down. And now that that has been pushed down, I can get something like my for example this bit right here, and just go around the edges just like this. So I'm not actually cutting the adhesive, I'm just scoring it, so then it makes a perfect curve. So we've got all the adhesive on the back of the phone now, quite a lot, and we don't need to worry about this middle bit. It's nothing major because we've got a lot of thickness around the actual perimeter of the phone itself. So now we can use something like a pry tool or something just to actually keep going, scoring the actual edge of the adhesive, but this time it will cut. Done. So that is our phone prepped with adhesive. So let's use some tweezers to now peel off the backing. There we go, that's it. And let's get our back panel right here, and you can see my back panel is really dirty. Remove any dust from that camera lens. There we go. There we go. That's it. Just push it down. And that's it. That's our phone done. Let's take this off as well. It deserves a nice clean. I've got my IPA right here. I think this has some IPA on it. And look at that. That's our back panel. That came out looking really clean. Look at that. So now let's take off this right here. Not as satisfying as I thought it would be, but okay. And let's clean the actual edge of the phone as well. So we can use our thumb to actually just remove the excess glue to the best that we can. And obviously, because this is liquid glue, I would always recommend leave it overnight under some sort of heavy pressure. So after I finish this video, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I've got some rubber bands. I've got a pot of just rubber bands next to me, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to rubber band this phone after this video, put it under something heavy like a few books, and then the next day I'm going to take the phone out of the rubber bands and it should be good to go. And look at that. After giving it a nice clean, the phone has come out looking really good. The actual repair itself went successful and we did a really nice quality job. So let's plug this in and let's test out the phone just to make sure everything's fully functioning, and then we can call it a wrap. Awesome, that's it guys. So that's this video completed. That's a battery replacement on this, and that's a display replacement on this Samsung Galaxy A5 2017. Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you learned something from this. If you need a repair, please feel free to message me on WhatsApp or send me an email at lightningquickrepairs@gmail.com, or you can send a message down in the comments and I will reply back to you as soon as possible. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you again in the next video.